trying to do interviews. I'll just answer a couple questions if you want me to. You know, just what had to do with Watertown, I guess, is more the prosecution of the survivors. So,
Overall reaction to today's verdict?
Well, my thoughts first are, I think the prosecution team did an unbelievable job. For 2 years, they've been working on it. We've been very close working with them, and they spent a lot of nights, weekends away from their families to put the case they went on, and I think they did an incredible job. The survivors, that's who I'm thinking about. That's who our police department's thinking about, what they've gone through during the court. I was pretty much in court every day, and to see how dignified they were, how poised and prepared they were because of the prosecution team, I think they really showed the strength of Boston. I was asked about the first responders, and I know police around the country are under criticism now. But I think what happened in Boston and what happened in Watertown, you saw the very best of law enforcement in a critical crisis where people stepped up and did their job. And I think we need people to support their local police departments. In the back streets of Watertown in the early morning hours, my officers, for the first time in America, were shot at and had bombs thrown at them. They stood up and protected that community, protected Greater Boston, and prevented those terrorists from going down to New York and killing more people. So I couldn't be more prouder than the men and women of the Watertown Police Department. I think the jurors had a difficult task, what they had to do. And you saw it. I was in there day after day, seeing them cry along with the victims, very emotional. And, we as a department made a decision. We would embrace whatever they decided. And they saw all the evidence, and they made the decision they did today. My thoughts are with them. They have a tough road ahead of them for what they've been through. Police officers at least are trained a little bit for the emotional things you get, but those jurors did their job and did it well.
Chief, will you address your department about this? You can talk to your officers about this, especially those who were involved and were in the line of fire?
Well, we have been. It's been 2 years, and I've spent a lot of time. Joe Reynolds, Jeff Pugilis, John McClellan. To me, all 4 of us graduated Watertown High School. We're a local police department. None of those guys had ever shot their guns before, and they're in the battle of their lives. 4 bombs getting thrown at them, and they stood up. They were truly at their very best, and acted outside of their training to be able to protect themselves and their community. So I'm very proud of them, and they know that. We've talked about it. They call me the proud father, because I'm so proud of what they did.
Chief, you were at this trial quite a bit. Was it important for you to be here?
It was. I mean, I was here pretty much every day. If I wasn't here, Lieutenant Lon was here. So I thought it was very important for me to represent our department in our community. We're really lucky that a lot of Watertown police officers didn't get killed that night on the early morning hours of April 19th. And they had every intention of executing Joe Reynolds like they did Sean Collier when he first confronted them. So, yes, it was important for me to be here every day.
Chief, when you found out that the verdict had come down, because you said you were here every day, tell us kind of the emotions that you went through, and then when you actually heard the reading and that this was the decision.
It was emotional. I think it was emotional for everybody that was in the courtroom, looking at the jurors. And when they came out, it was obvious to me that they had just made a difficult decision. They were emotional even before we knew what their decision was. And I'm just a couple of feet away from all the survivors that are in the courtroom too. And to hear that verdict come down, it was emotional for all of us. So we didn't know what it was going to be. And I think what it was important for all of us is they made the decision. I think we support it now, but it's the end, at least of this chapter. We can move on. It's been 2.5 years, or a little over 2 years, and we get back to Boston being Boston, the marathon becoming a focus, and we kind of forget about this. I was just with Billy Evans, the commissioner of Boston. He and I have run the marathon ourselves. It means a lot to us, and we want to get back to normal just like everybody else does. Our department wants to get back. There wasn't, we were told, keep your emotions to yourself, and I think that everybody in the court has been very good every time. But I think everybody as individuals, it was. I mean, there was tears in that courtroom from the jurors, from the survivors, from law enforcement, just knowing that we finally had closure. So it was emotional for all of us.
Did you get a chance to look at Tsarnaev?
Yeah, I mean, we all did, and you can't help but, see the younger brother there. But my focus is on my department and on the survivors. The survivors have a special bond among themselves. They stick together. They're doing great things. The One Fund was unbelievable, and now they're doing things to help other people. So I love to be around them. They're just so determined, so much strength, and I think that's what the story I see. That younger brother, and I'll never say his name. He doesn't deserve to be mentioned. We will start to forget about him, and we'll get back to being Boston.
Chief, just all your years in law enforcement, given the nature of Massachusetts voters and how they feel about the death penalty, were you surprised that all 12 unanimously decided for death? Or was it?
Well, I think and I think that was what people had said. We're in Massachusetts, and can we really get a death penalty for? I think the Department of Justice, the Attorney General, made a good decision. This was a terrorist act. They wanted to hurt innocent people. They killed a young child, and then it was up to the jury to weigh that. And they made that decision, and we didn't sit on the jury. I didn't sit on the jury, and it's their decision, and I support them for what they decided. Thank you.